So it's been a while. I unintentionally took the summer off. I didn't mean to, it just kind of happened. Summer was pretty busy this year with all the different kid activities going on, and I did not have the bandwidth to sit down and to make videos. So I'm very rusty, so forgive me. I also decided to forego my usual microphone setup today because I'm planning on showing you all the things I've been making all summer and trying them on, and it would have been too much to just kind of keep swapping the microphone on and off. So we're just gonna go simple today. My plan for today's video is to just catch you up on all the things I finished over the summer. It's not a ton, but it's enough that I think that this video should just be for that, and then my next video coming out will be the usual kind of project updates videos. Yeah, so if you're new around here, I'm Andrea. I'm a knitter, crocheter, spinner. I'm also an orthopedic physical therapist, and I put out Make Yourself Care Reels on Instagram and here on YouTube. I teach people how to take care of their bodies so that we can make comfortably and without pain for hopefully the rest of our lives. I have an online shop where I sell on-demand videos and a wrist and hand care kit. You can find me teaching at different festivals throughout the year. The next place I'm teaching will be at Sacred Sheep in Portland. That is coming up on the first weekend of November. So if you are in the Pacific Northwest area, or if you're planning to fly out there, you can definitely sign up for a class with me. I'm teaching 3 different times during the whole weekend. Very excited. I think it's going to be a great festival. I haven't been to Sacred Sheep before. This is only its second year, but I heard a lot of great things about it from the first year. I'm very excited, very honored because there's only 4 of us teaching, and 2 of the other teachers are Sari Norland and Caitlin Hunter. So yeah, don't know how I made it onto that roster, but very grateful and very honored. And most recently, I was at Flock Fiber Festival in Seattle back in August. I don't think I'm going to do a recap because it's been a while. It's been like, I think, a month since Flock happened. So if you want to know more about Flock, I will link to some videos down below of other makers who were there. And Flock was just a great time. I got to meet a lot of people, and I got to meet a lot of makers that I've been following for a while and meet a lot of people through my classes. It was just a really fun, great time. I highly recommend going to Flock Fiber Festival if you get a chance to. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. So we're not really gonna go in any sort of order. I did manage to compile all the knits that I have not shown here yet. And I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the one I'm wearing. So yeah, so let's start with the one I'm wearing. So what I'm wearing, this is the mini mock neck tank by Jessie May Designs, and it is, as you can see, it's a fingering weight tank. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm going to try to give you more thoughts about each pattern that I'm talking about today, just because, I don't know, we have the time and I haven't shared them anywhere. So anyway, so this is a tank. I was inspired to make it by Stephanie from Edible Thoughts Makes here on YouTube. She's made us several, and you know, I never thought that a tank was something I would want to make out of wool or anything. But she made a great point about it being a good layering piece for in the fall or even in the winter, just like a warm layering piece. So I have a few single skeins of just like colorways that I really liked. I don't really knit socks as much anymore, so I decided, you know what, I might as well try to make a tank out of them. So I have lots of thoughts about this one, okay? And I think I have not made up my mind yet if I'm going to make this pattern again, and I'll go into why. But yeah, let me organize myself a little bit here. So let me show you how it looks. So I made it with the plan to layer it under sweaters, but also to wear it with like a linen jacket. I spent quite a lot of time looking for a linen jacket like this. This is from Not Perfect Linen, and it is I think it's the Stockholm Jacket. I get a lot of my linen pieces secondhand. There's a Facebook group where people resell their linen pieces from Not Perfect Linen or Pine and Smith. So I get like, I think 80% of my linen pieces through a secondhand group, which is a great way to get into it because it can be more of an investment. Yeah, but so I got this off there. I was searching for a linen jacket for a while with this vision in mind. I'm really happy that finally came together. I'm wearing it with some kind of, I think these are from Old Navy. They're linen, maybe cotton blend pants. And they have a drawstring here on the inside. Yeah. But yeah, the pants are from Old Navy. I don't know exactly when. My friend Crizel, who's a local knitter, and we became friends through Instagram also, she had an extra pair of these or something. Anyway, we swapped some pants at some point. So she gave me these. I gave her a different pair of linen pants, that kind of thing. So yeah. Yeah, but, so this was the fit I had in mind. Just kind of this jacket layering. Yeah, and I really like it. I'm really happy with how it came out. So let me take off the jacket and show you how the tank looks. So, as you can see, the tank coverage is not the best. I think part of it, some of it may be my blocking. I don't know. I didn't really like try to stretch out the fabric when I blocked it. So this pattern, a little bit about it, you knit it with negative ease. And I think the recommendation is like 4 to 8 inches of negative ease. I knit the third size, which gave me about, I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, so I knit the third size, the medium they call it, and it comes out with a measurement of 31.5 inches. My bust is about 35 inches, so that gave me about a little less than 4 inches of negative ease. I am not sure if I picked the right size. And if you've knit this pattern before, please chime in the comments below and let me know. I don't know if maybe it would have, when I put it on, if it would stretch more if I knit a smaller size, but I was a little skeptical. Yeah. I don't really know. I'm okay with this because I'm going to wear it as a layering piece mostly. I don't care that, my bra straps show that much. I did wear it when I went into the city last weekend to meet a friend and to see a musical, and I wore it with a racer back sports bra underneath, and then, my straps did not show because my straps were together like that. So that was fine with that. Yeah, and as you can see right now, if I adjust it, it mostly stays in place, but if I move around, it probably will shift around. Yeah. So in terms of modifications I did for this, I knitted exactly to pattern except for the collar. I only knit 1/2 inch of ribbing. The pattern says I think 1 to 1.5 inches for like that mock neck look. Don't like anything super close to my neck. So I just did 1/2 inch to have more of a crew neck look. The other thing too is it is knit to be cropped. I pretty much knit until I ran out of yarn. So I only had a skein of this yarn, and this yarn, by the way, is Explore Knits on the Denali sock base, which is a 2-ply sock base, and it is the colorway Desert Bloom. I had one skein, and then I had a mini because Desert Bloom was part of the 2021 advent calendar that Explore Knits did, and I got that advent calendar. So I had a 20-gram mini as well. So I knew that I could knit until I run out, basically. And what I did was when I got, what did I do? I knit to a point where I knew I had I think I had about 15 grams. What did I do? I can't remember. I just knit until a point, and then I used the mini to do the collar, and then I weighed my mini before and after. So my collar here took about 5 grams. So I knew that I would probably need 10 grams-ish for the ribbing at the bottom. That was just my estimate. I have no real math to back it up. It was just an estimate. So I basically knit until I had about 10 grams of yarn left, and then I did the ribbing and I bound off. I ended up having about 5 grams left over, so I could have used a little bit more, but I didn't want to run out of yarn while I was binding off. So this is what it looks like. It is kind of cropped. Well, my navel is right here, so it does come down to my navel, so it's fine. And I pretty much mostly wear only high-waisted pants these days, so it does tuck into my high-waisted pants and stays there. So I'm fairly happy with the length. I'm okay with it. And also because it doesn't have any shaping, it's just straight. If I think if I'd gone all the way down to here, it would have gotten really tight around my hips because my hips would start to flare out there. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know if I would knit it again because of the issue with this part in the coverage. I think if I'm just knitting them and I'm not going to wear them alone or in the summer much, then I would make it again because it was actually a fairly quick knit. I was surprised. I believe you knit these on US size 3 needles. Yeah, and it worked out pretty quickly. I finished this in a month while I was working on different things also. And it is knit top down. There's no finishing needed to be done for the armholes. You knit the finishing edge as you're making it, so that part was nice. So all you have to do to pick up is really just the collar. So yeah, I think I would knit again. I am looking at some other tank tops too. Like I think it's called the City Tank by Tori Yu is another one I'm considering. Yeah, so I don't know. I have, I think, at least 2 other skeins of fingering weight, kind of variegated colorways that I had earmarked to make a tank or a tee of some sort. So yeah, but if I did not have that many, I think that this actually would have ended up a little bit too cropped for me to wear comfortably. Having that 20 gram mini definitely saved me. So I would say if you're knitting the size 3, 1 skein of finger weight might not be enough. If I was knitting size 2, it would probably be enough. But for size 3, it would not have been enough. Not for me. Like, I don't wear super crop things. So yeah, just something to keep in mind if you're thinking about it. Okay, next up, this is the Karina Tea by Sari Nordlund. I started this like over a year ago, and this summer I was determined to finish it. I was determined to finish it before flock so I could wear it to flock because I knew Sari would be there, and I did accomplish that goal. I'll pop a picture here of me wearing my tee, and a picture with Sari. Sari is super sweet, by the way. I was like really starstruck when I met her. I don't think she'll ever watch this. So yeah, but I was very starstruck when I met her, and she was so sweet, so nice. Yeah. Really looking forward to seeing her again in Portland in November. Yeah, but anyway, so this is the Karina Tea. It is an all over cabled tee. As you can see, I knit mine in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, held double, which is the recommended yarn. This is a colorway Dark Cognac, and I am really happy with it. It is 100% silk. And I did not mind the process of working with 100% pure silk. It did get like, so I have like a love-hate relationship with cables. I love the way cables look, but sometimes working on cables does hurt my hands and my wrists a little bit. So I have to be careful and kind of manage everything and maybe take more breaks more often. Don't work on for hours on end. Be mindful of how tight my hands are. Yeah. But I think with cables too, it's harder for me to memorize cable charts. But by the time I got to the end of this tee, I basically had memorized the chart and kind of knew what was coming next and that kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm super happy with it. The fit is really nice and airy. It's a good length. The only modification I did was I shortened the sleeves and I modified the sleeves. So she's written the pattern so that you knit the sleeves and then you fold it and sew down the fold. By the time I got to the sleeves, I did not want to do that. So I just knit the sleeves to whatever length I wanted and then just bound off. And it worked out fine. Yeah. Some more details, like which size I knit. Yeah, I knit the size 2, which gave me about 10 inches of positive ease. I don't know if I actually got 10 inches of positive ease. I tend to knit a little tighter when I'm doing cables. But it's still a good amount of positive ease. And it wears really comfortably. I really like it. Would I knit this again? Probably not, just because it's a lot of cables. But I will knit other cable patterns. But I don't think I would knit this exact tee again. But you never know. If I were to knit again, I'd want like a pale color, not a darker one. But I really like this one. Yeah, super easy to wear. And more breathable fabric because it's 100% silk instead of wool. Yeah. And I would say also that, so one thing I've noticed that with cable patterns sometimes is that, you know, wool has elasticity to it. It bounces back a little bit. So I've had some garments that I knit that were cabled patterns in wool, and they tend to kind of shrink back on themselves after some time. And when you're knitting a cable pattern with like a plant fiber, like cotton, silk, something where it doesn't have a ton of elasticity, I do like that it just stays. Like it doesn't bounce back, the cable and the fabrics don't shrink back up on each other. So that is one part I do really like quite a lot. Yeah, so basically like once I laid it out and blocked it, it's basically stayed the same the entire time. And I do like that, so yeah. But yeah, I really like this tee. If you really like cables, I do recommend it as a nice summer top. And it'll be a great transitional piece too for the fall. All right, this is the Lake Stripes tee. This is a pattern by Ozetta. And I tested this for her back in May. And I think the last time I filmed, I was still working on this tee, which means I really did not film all of summer. Anyway, so this is Knit and Wool Dreamers Sauna Base, which is a 50% cotton, 50% wool base. And it is non-superwash. And the colors I used were the cream was Ozetta and then the blue is Fratelli. And yeah, so this is part of her Lakes series. She has a series of patterns that are all like Lakes-ish tees. So it's got a saddle shoulder and it's striped. And I really like it. I like how it turned out. I would say that for me, sauna is not as summer friendly of fiber as it sounds. Like, you know, 50% cotton versus 50% wool. It sounds very summer friendly. For me, personally, it is not. The wool in here is a little bit more rustic than like superwash merino. And so when things are a little bit more rustic, you know, they prickle a little. That prickle creates some more heat. So I would say this is more like a fall tee for me, a fall or spring. I would not wear this in the summer. Like it would not be cool enough for me to wear in the summer. But as fall, spring, it would be great. Yeah, and I really like it. It was a really fun knit. I really like it. I think if you have the Lakes tee already, you probably can figure out how to do the striping if you want by yourself. So I believe I don't have the Lakes stripe tee myself, but from the way the pattern was written for the Lake stripes, I believe that you could, if you wanted to, figure out how to do the striping by yourself. Yeah, because I think otherwise the construction is probably very similar, if not the same. Oh, and one thing I forgot to say about the Lake Stripes tee is that what I did was I carried my colors all the way up. You can see that here. So I didn't cut them in between. I hate doing that. I hate having so many ends to weave in. So I chose to carry my colors up. And it worked out pretty well. You know, this is the inside. And on the side here, you can't really see it that well. If you look for it, you can see it. But it worked out fairly well. Yeah. So I would say that's an option if you want to do that. Some people prefer to cut the yarn and just weave in all the ends, but I prefer not to if I don't have to. All right, this is the Petal Party Crop. It is a pattern by Samantha Guerin. This is the second time I've knit this. I knit the size 3 this time. The first time I knit it, I knit the size 2. I decided to try one with a little bit more positive ease to it. I really like it. I hosted a knit along last spring for this top with Aro of Aro Knits and Pearls and Megan Kimchingo. A lot of people finished theirs. We did not. And I finished mine this year. Anyway, better late than never, right? The yarn I used for this is by Republic of Wool. She is no longer dyeing yarn, which is kind of sad. So, yeah. But I think this pattern is really great for either tonals or variegated yarns, like lightly variegated or speckled yarns, just because it looks really cute. Yeah, so you can see there's a stockinette panel, there's lace panels on the side, and then kind of like this, some garter rows in between. Yeah. I usually wear this with like a tank underneath because I don't really want my bra showing, or at least this tee is really easy to dress up or dress down. And so when I've worn it recently, I've been wearing it to like nicer events. Like we went to the US Open, we went out for a nice dinner one night. I wore these for both of them. So I did wear a tank underneath because it seemed like I should probably do that instead of having my bra show through you. But I would be very comfortable wearing this like with a nude bra underneath and not wearing anything underneath and feel fine with that. Yeah, but I really like this pattern. I highly recommend it. It's a really great pattern. I love to wear this with skirts or on top of a dress. As you can see here, it works really well with high-waisted pants too. Yeah. Samantha is one of my favorite designers ever, and I really love her tees too that she designs. They're all great, so I highly recommend this one, Petal Party Crop, if you have not knitted before. All right, speaking of Samantha Guerin, here is another design by her. This is the Seagrass Tank, which is a tank. And I tested this for her over the summer, and I really love this pattern. Is again like a classic Samantha pattern, very easy to dress up or dress down. It's got a small lace detail on the side here, which is also very easy to memorize. I believe it's like a 4-row repeat, like compared to Petal Party Crop. Petal Party Crop is a 6-row repeat, and this is a 4-row repeat, even easier to memorize. You can see it's got a folded over neckline and armholes and hem here. Yeah, and you can see that lace panel goes all the way down the side. Yeah, I love this pattern. Super easy dress up and dress down again, like I said. I knit this in Moondrake Pika Pika, which is a 60% wool, 20% silk, 20% ramie. Ramie is like a cellulose fiber, plant fiber. And this is a colorway silver. I really like this, this base from Moondrake also. Very wearable. I wore this in the summer quite a lot. And yeah, I just really like it a lot. The only thing about the Pika Pika is that it is a little bit more prone to pilling a little bit, I've noticed. Like I have some pilling around the bottoms because again, I did wear this quite a lot. But it's like nothing huge. It's like mostly at places of high friction. Like if I wear a crossbody purse quite a lot, and I think one of the days I wore this, I had a backpack on quite a lot, and the backpack has like the back of it has some friction points to it, so yeah. But I really like this. Only thing I would change the next time I knit one is I would knit it a little bit shorter, just because the hem here, and this is probably just my own finishing, it is a little like tight because you knit it and then you sew it down. I try to do it really loosely, but again, I'm probably not the best at doing that. So I would probably knit it a little bit shorter so that it would end like kind of right here instead, so that, you know, wouldn't feel like this is sitting right around my hips here. I would probably end it kind of right around here instead, right around my navel. But yeah, otherwise, I really like this pattern. It's super classy. One thing to know too is like when I went to Flock Fiber Festival, I saw so many people wearing Samantha's patterns. It was really fun. I met another gal who was wearing a seagrass also. There were a ton of Salty Air tees there too. Salty Air is another tee pattern by Samantha, and it's got like a lace yoke. It's really beautiful. I saw so many there. I would say like out of all the knit tees I saw, one of the top patterns I saw was Salty Air everywhere. So you gotta knit that one too if you haven't knit it yet. But yeah, but this tank is really nice. I really like it. I like to wear it with overalls, like short pant overalls. That's how I've been usually wearing it, just because I like to show off that lace detail on the sides. But I would wear it with high-waisted pants also, and with a skirt also. So yeah. Alright, as you can see, we're all done with the summer knitting I did. I'm trying to remember if I have any other summer knits on my needles right now. Not really. I think I've fully transitioned into fall knitting. And this is the last pattern I have to show you today, and this pattern will be coming out soon. I think in a week. This is the Hibernate Pullover by Amy Scher. They are another designer that I absolutely love. Love all their patterns, love how they fit. I test knit for them quite often. And so this one is coming out soon. And this one, just like all of Amy's patterns, there's a lot of different things you can do to mix and match things, to kind of customize it to the way you want. As you can see, this is a V-neck pullover. This is like the winter version of their Slightly Sassy V, which is a short-sleeved V-neck tee that I test knit for them last year. And so this is the pullover version, winter version, DK version. DK? Is this DK weight or worsted? This is DK weight, yeah. And in the pattern, they will probably have a coloring sheet where you can figure out like if you want to stripe it, if you want to do a solid color, or if you want to marl it. When the pattern comes out, I highly recommend checking out the hashtag to see all the different versions that the testers have made. A lot of the testers have made several versions, and everyone's kind of put their own spin on it. And this is my spin on mine. It's kind of got like a Star Trek vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. So I decided to do a two-tone, and I'll stand up so you can see the whole thing. I decided to do a two-tone look with mine, and the top color is Festive from Woolberry Fiber Co. This was part of the Christmas box, I think, last year. And the orange color is from Olivia and Oliver Fibers, who is a dyer out of the Netherlands. This colorway is Burnt Umber. It's really beautiful. It's a super autumnal reddish orange. Yeah, I really like it. The two colors went together really well. Yeah, so the way I did mine was that I only had one skein of the festive, so I decided to try to knit until I was done with it. But I wanted to save enough for my collar here. What I should have done was I should have knit to a certain point. I should have picked up for the collar and done the collar and then finished knitting. Because what I did instead was I got to, I think, about 2 rows before sleeve separation, and then was like, I think I'm not gonna have enough if I keep going. So then I stopped there. I added in my burnt umber color and went on separate for sleeves. And then later when I went and picked up for the collar, I still had a good amount of yarn left. I definitely could have gone to sleeve separation and then switched my colors. The only reason I mentioned this is because I think if I'd gone to sleeve separation, do you see how there's like this little blip here? Then I think I would have my red would have come down here, and there wouldn't have been, it would have been a clean cut line here instead of like this little dip of red. It took me a while to figure out if it bothered me that it looked like this. I think it doesn't really, mostly because I don't look down at my chest that much. And I'm okay with it, but I think the next time I make this, if I were to do like a two-tone or to just stripe it, I would knit my first color until I got to sleeve separation and then switch to the second color. But with Amy has a version that is a 3-color, and it's kind of like the colors are marled together throughout, so it's a more subtle striping situation going on. And theirs, it also has the same look here, but it's a little less obvious because the colors are closer to in tonality to each other, so it's less obvious, whereas mine is very, like, you know, stark. But otherwise, I don't really mind it. The other thing about this pattern is if you knit the Slightly Sassy V, you would know that the instructions for that, it is a top-down V-neck. And you know, most designers, when they make V-neck patterns, it's knit bottom up to create that V-neck, but Amy has a lot of theirs where they're top down. And so with the Slightly Sassy V, it was at the same time, like, do this and at the same time do that. Those kind of instructions, which can be kind of daunting for beginners or even some intermediate knitters to keep track of 2 different things going on. So for this pattern, Amy combined the 2 so that it's all just one set of instructions, which is really great. They have a raglan tracker that goes along with it so that you know how many rows or where you should be increasing for what, and you can double check that against the tracker, which is really great. So yeah, so I highly recommend this pattern. It fits really well, as you can see. I don't think I made any modifications. Yeah, I don't think I did. The only modifications maybe would be my sleeve decreases. I rarely follow patterned sleeve decreases because I like my sleeves to fit a little bit more loosely around my biceps. My arms tend to be different sizes, especially my forearms. I think they tend to be a little bit thicker than what patterns usually write for someone of my size, because I use my hands quite a lot in my job as a physical therapist, so my forearms are quite defined and toned. So I tend to just forego most sleeve instructions and just do my own thing and decrease at a rate that I find comfortable. You know, it's possible that I decreased per pattern on this. I really can't remember what I did now. But yeah, I really like it. Sleeve length came out perfectly. Yeah, so this pattern will be out next week. I highly recommend that you pick it up. I am planning to knit another one in just one color, or maybe a marled. I haven't decided yet, but it's a super fun pattern, really fun to customize, great wardrobe staple, especially if you want a V-neck. Okay, that's it for this week's video. I need to ease into the talking bit again. Hopefully I'll be able to film sometime soon within the next 2 weeks to catch you up on all the projects I've been working on. I have been steadily trying to work down my WIP pile. If you don't recall, I think like in the spring I had somewhere like 12 or 13 WIPs. And I have since worked it down to, I believe I have 7 right now. Yeah, which is a little bit more manageable. I would still like to get it down further because I'm starting to get that feeling that, I don't know if anyone else gets this feeling, but I get this feeling sometimes when I've been working on the same things for a while, that I start to feel bored and I just want something new. yeah, so, but I'm determined to finish several of these projects. Especially because a lot of them will be great fall and winter pieces, and I really want to get them done so I can wear them. So I am working very hard on 2 cardigans right now to get them off the needles and that kind of thing before I allow myself to cast something new on. I've also committed to no more test knits for the rest of this year. I think I can stick to that pretty well. I mean, there's only 4 months left, right? So it shouldn't be that hard to stick to. And I've resisted several test knit calls, which has been really great. But yeah, I am feeling very motivated to really work down my WIP pile, and hopefully when we go into 2025 to be able to start 2025 with fresh new projects and not be carrying over too many things from the last 2 years. That would be great. Anyway, so I will see you all next time. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Really happy to be back here in this space. I'll see you all next time. Happy knitting.